From Casey Affleck not getting any more projects even after winning an Oscar, to Lindsay Lohan having a very dry decade due to substance abuse. Here are some celebrities who had the potential to do great but ruined their careers. Starting off with Lea Michele and her difficult-to-work-with attitude. The Glee star had a positive influence on her fan following and social media since after she left the popular show. And when someone's popular like that, they must be very careful of what they're saying on the internet, because social media has its dark side too. Now, George Floyd's murder made unprecedented headlines when it happened and gave birth to a whole new movement. Many celebrities came forward and were appreciated for their support for Black Lives Matter. Some, on the other hand, did it just to get some attention, and my girl Michelle here probably belonged to the latter category. You see, when the video of Floyd's murder surfaced on the internet, Lea expressed her support for the movement on her social media platforms, and it was well received by the fans, until Samantha Ware, who worked with Lea on Glee, entered the scene and didn't appreciate her gesture at all. Apparently, her former co-star accused Lea of making her time on Glee a living hell, and said that she almost quit acting because of her. Yikes! She continued by saying that Michelle regularly made racist comments and traumatic microaggressions pointed towards not only Samantha, but her other black co-stars as well. Now, all Samantha had to do was create a spark, which caused many more actors to come out and accuse Lea of unprofessional behavior. And these accusations led to Lea missing out on numerous endorsement deals. In June 2020, she released a statement apologizing to her co-stars, but it was too late for that. But she wasn't the only one who suffered because of bad PR. Do you remember the name Katherine Heigl? Wonder where she is now? Well, you might have seen her doing some regular acting work here and there, but nothing big. Especially not as big as winning an Emmy for Grey's Anatomy or being the lead in Knocked Up. And unfortunately, she's the reason why it has come down to this. The actress was in the run for another Emmy in 2008, but an interview that year ruined everything. First, it was the criticism on the writing of Grey's Anatomy, saying that the material that she was given didn't deserve an Emmy nomination and then withdrew herself from the contention. Like, why would anyone in their right mind do that? Of course, it had to create tension between her and the creators, and Heigl eventually had to leave Grey's Anatomy. Then she made negative comments about her film Knocked Up, saying that it was sexist toward women. I mean, yeah, she can critique her work, but the way she did it was never going to sit right with the makers of the film. These comments, unsurprisingly, led to public backlash, and many criticized her for being ungrateful for the opportunities she received. As a result, she stopped getting any work, or at least the quality of work that she was used to getting. It was a similar case with another actress who didn't get a major role for years. But what ruined her career wasn't her bad mouth. It was rather her legal troubles that took Lindsay Lohan out of the picture. The American actress began her career as a child actress, starring in movies like Mean Girls and Freaky Friday. And her fame skyrocketed because of those roles. But sadly for Lindsay, adulthood had different plans. It all started when the media got the news that Lindsay had failed to show up on the set of her film Georgia Rule in 2006. Also, can't forget her numerous DUI arrests and cases of substance abuse, after which she had to follow a few court-ordered rehab stints. The media had set its eyes on her, and leaving her alone was out of the question. They unleashed one scandalous story after another, and just butchering her reputation and image. But what really sealed the deal here was the fact that Lindsay was convicted for drunk driving in 2007. Ah, classic Lindsay. After that, there were a few more cases of reckless driving, and the actress went so far as to even start shoplifting. She basically stopped getting any work after that. Until last Christmas, when she bagged a Netflix original, Falling for Christmas, which was her first major project in over a decade. Unlike Lohan, though, this next actor could play any role that came his way. Charlie Sheen had a brilliant range of acting, but his life was a mess. But a lot of his problematic behaviors in part are connected to his past, which many people have no idea about. You see, his father had a severe drinking problem. Though it doesn't justify his behavior, it sure gives an explanation. Those who knew Sheen called his childhood a scary one, and it impacted Charlie in the worst way possible. The actor is said to suffer from bipolar disorder and went through his first rehab stint at the age of 25. On the flip side, his acting career was doing well in the 80s. But unfortunately for him, the 90s were just miserable. An incident took place with his then-fiancée Kelly Preston, where Charlie ended up shooting her accidentally. Back to rehab it was for him. He was literally in his 20s at that time. After that, his life turned into a series of one bad choice after another. First, it was his involvement with the adult actress Ginger Allen. Then his constant visits to brothels that made headlines in 1995. And eventually he got arrested for bashing his girlfriend in 1997. I wish it ended there, but it sadly didn't. Not long after, he was taken to the hospital after he had suffered a stroke due to a drug overdose. It was just horrible for the young guy, whose career just plummeted and worsened after these incidents. Unlike Sheen, though, this next actor had no one other than himself to blame for his downfall. That's right, I'm talking about Casey Affleck. Two women who worked with Casey on I'm Still Here came forward and accused him of The allegations made included the fact that he created a hostile work environment and behaved inappropriately with them. Affleck denied these allegations, but the lawsuit was actually settled for an undisclosed fee.
We wanted to try to make it right, and so we made it right in the way that was asked at the time. And we all agreed to just sort of try to put it behind us and move on with our lives, which I think we deserve to do. And I want to sort of respect them, and as they've respected me and my privacy.
What's surprising is that he just came off from winning an Oscar, and news like this was the last thing he needed. At a time when his career was supposed to boom, it took a U-turn, and a dry spell began, with him getting little to no work.
First of all, that I was ever involved in a conflict that resulted in a lawsuit is something that I really regret. I wish I had found a way to kind of resolve things in a different way. I hate that.
With constantly being mentioned in feminist discussions, particularly relating to the Me Too movement. This one major instance completely ruined the potentially great career of Casey. And like him, another pretty famous actor that we all probably loved at one point in time was accused of inappropriate behavior. And it's none other than James Franco. The actor who played Tommy Wiseau in The Disaster Artist was excluded from the Academy Awards despite his brilliant performance. And the reason was the news of him misbehaving with a 17-year-old. According to it, Franco contacted a girl on Instagram and asked her to meet up with him. The two met, and there's even a picture on her Instagram as proof of the interaction. That girl later went on to claim that James had continuously insisted that she come back to his hotel room. James initially denied these allegations, saying that it was consensual. But the story kept getting sketchier. It was later found out that there were a total of 3 people in the room who had disrobed one another, and it ended up in a sexually inappropriate interaction. And pretty much since then, James hasn't had much to do in his career, and he's been constantly targeted by people promoting the Me Too movement. That'll be all on celebrities who destroyed their own careers.